In my last video, this diva was sitting behind me and I had a few comments asking, how the heck do we make a look like that one? So today I'm going to take you along on the journey of what it takes to make a look just like this one. Now this is not going to be a full-blown step-by-step tutorial. It's more of a sew along, a come with me type of video. So you're going to get a bunch of useful tips and tricks on how to get a finished product like this one. So let's do it. What's up everybody? If you're new here, my name is Vahka, social media's drag mom, and if you didn't have a drag mama before, you have one now. Welcome to the family. Let's do some sewing. Okay, what are we gonna need? What supplies does it take to create yourself a beautiful drag costume like this one? You are gonna need a zipper and thread. Obviously, that's where you always gotta start, a zipper and thread. If you really want to do this look without a zipper, you can, but since I'm doing like commission work, I always like to put a zipper in just because it's more professional and it's a lot easier to get into. Next, I always use some bias tape to finish up these ruffled pieces because it's a lot easier than hemming, and you can also just give a nice cleaner look like this, and it just makes your life a lot easier. Not only does it have a much cleaner look, but it also helps to push the shape of the ruffle out because it's a little more sturdy than just a four-way stretch fabric. So this is very crucial. And obviously you're gonna need some fabric. Now you can do this in any type of four-way stretch fabric. You can also recreate this in non-stretch. It would be a lot more difficult, so I prefer to do it in four. This is gonna be our lining fabric. You do not need to line this if you do not want to. If you have a fabric that is opaque enough and strong enough to hold the ruffles, then by all means do it. This is gonna be our lining. It's a four-way stretch spandex, just a typical spandex, really stretchy, really good. For our outer fabric, we have this minty teal sequin. This is a spandex sequin. It is also the same fabric as the one I just showed you, but the only difference is that it has sequins sewn onto the top of it. Super pretty. It's like this iridescent pearl blue. I absolutely love this fabric. It's gorgeous. It's heavyweight. It's sturdy. This is going to be the pretty part. The other one's going to be the inside, and everything else is going to help us get there along the way. I know this is a lot of me talking, but I wanted to show you, this is what my pattern looks like. It is something that I created just like with my own body and my own measurements at first, and then I was able to build it out and create patterns for other people as well for other sizes. So this is what it looks like. It just came to me one night in a dream, and it looks kind of crazy. It looks like some kind of weird chicken leg, but I promise that this started this. I'm gonna start my day by cutting out my pretty fabric and my lining in this pattern, and I'll be back. All of our pieces are cut in the sequin and the lining. Look how pretty, sparkly, lovely, cutesy. Love it. Now, we have to make the ruffles. There's a few ways to make ruffles. You can do like a flounce, which is cut in a spiral shape. You can do gathered ruffles. I do pleated ruffles, and a lot of people have asked me for my secret sauce for this way that I cut ruffles, and I have never given it to them. So I'm going to cut out my rectangles for my ruffles, and then we're gonna hit the sewing machine, and it's time to put it all together. And honestly, the ruffling is where it takes the longest. So this is why I like to have everything cut, so I don't have to like sew, cut, sew, cut, sew, and then be done. I like to cut, sew, be done. So I'm going. This microphone is my 13th reason today. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna cut out my ruffles in the fun fabric, and then we'll get sewing. Okay, so I have all of my pieces here that are sewn together, ready to be ruffled. Now, before I do the ruffling, I am going to bind the edges with this bias tape. So I'm going to do all of that. I'm going to wind up my bobbins, and I like to do I do minimum 2 bobbins per project because there's nothing worse than like having to rewind the only bobbin that you're using. It's just terrible. So I'm going to put our thread together, and this long strip of craziness is going to become all the flouncy prettiness. And I do this first because it's the worst part of the project. It is the worst part of making these, is all of the tedious ruffling. But if you do it first, then the rest of it is like, whoosh, it's a breeze. The rest of it comes together so quickly. It is so worth doing this first. Also, one thing I hate on camera is my hands, and right now I'm in the process of making a sourdough loaf. So I have all of this like dry dough on me. Do not think that it's my hands, please. It's not, I promise. I am making sourdough, so it's like flour. I wasn't kidding when I said that this is the longest part of the process. Those packs of bias tape are 3 yards each. I used 3 yards. This is 9 yards of bias taping and 9 yards of fabric. So I'm going to ruffle all 9 of those yards now, and that's going to take even longer. What felt like an eternity later, we have 9 yards of sequin all ruffled up, bias taped, and ready to go. I actually really like this fabric. It's a lot stiffer than the fabrics I normally work with, so it's holding that ruffle nicely, and it still moves. Got some movement here, but this fabric is beautiful. It brings out the blue in my eyes. I might have to reorder this for me, okay? Time to actually work on the bodysuit. And this is where we kind of breeze through stuff. So I'm gonna sew up both of those, and then I'll be back when it's time to attach the ruffles to the outside, because that's where things get interesting. So I will be back. And we still have to do a zipper and straps. So, lot to do. Fresh off the sewing machine, we have the lining and our outer shell here all sewn together. This is what it's looking like. Oops, it's upside down. The reason that I sew them separately instead of just doing like all the layers smushed together and sewing 4 layers down is because sequins are really uncomfortable, especially on seams. They can scratch you and they're bulky. So I will do the outside shell, and then I will do the lining to enclose those sequin seams so they don't scratch anybody, and it looks a lot more professional when you are buying it as a customer. The other reason that I do them in 2 pieces is because attaching the ruffles is a very difficult process. So to have the lining and the outside fabric together, trying to sew ruffles in a specific pattern, it just bunches up, it doesn't look as clean, and then you see those seams on the inside of the costume. So I will attach them to the shell and then sew it all and flip it inside out so you don't see any of those sewing and those seams to attach the ruffles to. So it just looks, it's all just in an effort to make it look a lot cleaner. Also, look at this like stain from the manufacturer. I don't know what this is. I think it's actually leftover stabilizer, but you don't see it through the costume, so it's fine. But I was just like, what is that? So I'm going to attach those ruffles. I always start by doing the neckline, and then I will do the ones around the waist. And I have some good tips on how to do those and some kind of like tricks that I've picked up over the years of doing this. And we'll be back. This fabric is so pretty. I love these. I think I might have to order this in pink for myself. These ruffles are so nice. They sit so nice. But now I have to attach them around the waistline. And this is where things get specific. All right, so here is our outer shell. You can see the ruffles are up here on the top. But I like to add the ruffles in kind of this M shape. That's the perfect way to describe it. This is the front middle of our look. So we're going to slide this over. And we're going to start at the back. Now, this is going to seem a little weird. However, for whatever reason, the number that I have found works the best for the best placement on most bodies is 3.5 inches from the raw hem here. So I'm going to go 3.5 inches up. Put my pin right here. And now I can use that as a reference point to start placing my ruffles. I'm going to be placing my ruffles right side to right side and just putting that at a natural angle, just like this. Not really measuring it. I will check that these are all 3.5 until it gets to the center point, just because that is where it kind of rounds out a little bit. If you haven't put it together yet, I'm a very eyeball visual kind of person, but the one thing I will not eyeball is where the center front is going to be, because you want that point to hit right in the middle. So I'm going to go from seam to seam here. And we're at about 16.5. So 16.5 is what? 8.25? Yeah. So I'm going to put that here. And I'm just going to mark that with a pin so I know to set my center point right here. And then I'm going to continue pinning at 3.5 inches from the raw hem. I just put in the lining, and I tried a new method because I wanted to attempt to have no raw edges at all. So the only hole I left is down in the crotch seam. I've never done this before, and I'm really hoping that I did not just kind of sew myself out of this, because that would be really upsetting. Like, I put the zipper in on the inside and everything. I've never done this before. So I'm going to try to pull this entire look out of the bottom hole, just like this, because I really wanted no seams. No, like raw edges, no raw seams. I don't know. I hope it works. Pray for me. If not, I'll have to rip the entire thing open to get the zipper back out. Okay, I just found some zipper, so that's a good sign. I'm getting excited because I'm like, did this actually work? Usually I don't try new techniques on commission work. I do the stuff that I know works. But, oh my god, I think it worked. Oh my god! I cannot believe that worked. I want to show you what I mean by no raw edges. This is what I mean. The entire inside of the costume has clean finishes and clean seams. Even the zipper. Even the zipper is sewn into the lining, so you don't see the edges of it. And the outside has all of the same clean edges. I'm genuinely like impressed that that worked. I have to add some straps and a few other finishing details, and this look will be ready for the final reveal and the post office. So I'm gonna finish this up and I will be back with the final reveal. Okay, it is the end of my day. It is 8:30 p.m. and the look is done. The look was done a little while ago, but I took a break to eat dinner and, like be a human for a little bit. But we put the straps on, we closed up the lining, we did the top stitching, and we made sure that all those final details were nice and secure and put on there, because the finishing touches are what make your looks look more professional, in my opinion. You're probably sitting there thinking, shut the hell up and just show us the final look already. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do. Before we see the final look, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe on this video, and comment down below if you would wear the look that I'm about to show you. Here we go. Alrighty, y'all, here we go. The final look coming at ya in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. I'm honestly obsessed with how this turned out. It looks so, so good, and it looked even better on the client, which I will insert some pictures at the end for you. This kind of look has become one of my most requested commissions, and it's not hard to see why, okay? Like, look at the material. The way these flounces are sitting, like, it just looks so good. All those raw edges are completely enclosed, and the client is nice and comfortable. As always, I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.